So, it's official. Gerald Washington has agreed to step in as a late replacement and take on WBC heavyweight world champion Deontay Wilder on February 25th. Now, before I get into my reaction to this news and my breakdown of the fight, I have to apologize for the audio quality in this particular video. I'm having some issues with my equipment, which I normally use, my microphone and what have you. I don't know what the problem is, but I'm getting a lot of hiss in the audio, a lot of low-end noise in my recordings. I've just noticed it today. This hasn't been the case. Normally, the audio has been fine, but for some reason, some type of issue has occurred today where I'm getting loads of low-end rumble and hiss, and even when I use noise reduction filters and stuff like that, it don't seem to make much of a difference. So I'm thinking there could be a problem with my equipment. I thought it could maybe be the audio cable, but I've got a few different audio cables, XLR cables, and I've tried those out and nothing seems to be making a difference. So maybe it could be my sound card, there's an issue with it, or it could be my actual microphone, I'm not sure. So yeah, I apologize for the audio quality in this video. I'm going to try to get the situation rectified as soon as possible. Anyway, on to this actual fight. Gerald Washington is, in my view, a better opponent than Wilder's original scheduled opponent, Warchek. He's unbeaten. I think he's about, 18-0, something like that, 19-0. I don't think he's had 20 fights yet, but he's unbeaten. He's got one draw, which was with Amir Mansour. I thought that was a fair result in terms of the scoring. He could have gone for Mansour by a round or two, maybe Washington by a round or two. You couldn't really complain. He also has a win over Eddie Chambers, which is probably his best win of his career. He outboxed Chambers easily. He used his height and reach effectively. And for those of you who've never seen Gerald Washington fight before, he's an American heavyweight. He's 6'6". He's, 240, 245, 250 pounds. So he's a modern sized heavyweight. He's a big guy. He's athletic. He's in shape. And as I've already said, he can use his height and reach effectively. The issue that I've got with Gerald Washington is that he doesn't seem to have much heart, or he hasn't displayed much heart or much spirit for combat. He's extremely safety first. And that's been against a fairly low level of opposition, against journeymen and fringe contenders. So now that he's stepping up and facing Deontay Wilder, which will be a higher level than he's used to facing, is he going to be even more cautious against Wilder? A serious puncher? Or will he rise to the occasion? That remains to be seen. But that is my main concern with Gerald Washington. In terms of his ability, he's got decent ability. He's athletic. He's pretty quick. He throws his punches pretty correctly. So he is one of those kind of guys who seems to have all the right tools to be a top level heavyweight. But mentally, does he really have it? That's the issue. And I guess we'll find out against Deontay Wilder. If he actually brings some ambition in this fight, if he brings some aggression, which he hasn't really shown in his previous fights, then Wilder might actually be in for a very, very tough night indeed. But if he's as cautious as he was against Chambers and Mansour, then he's going to hand Wilder this victory on a silver platter. So let's hope that he finds some meanness from somewhere and actually sticks it on Deontay Wilder and gives us a decent fight. Obviously, a lot of us wanted to see Luis Ortiz in there with Wilder, a Big Baby Miller, even a Kubrat Pulev. And for various reasons, Wilder has elected not to face those particular guys. He's taken on Washington, who is a fellow Al Haymon fighter and who was going to be fighting on the undercard of this show anyway. So I guess from a business point of view, it was an easy fight to make. And Washington always appeared to be the front runner to step in anyway. So let me know how you feel about this, people. Are you disappointed by this opponent? Do you, at least like me, agree that Washington is better than Warchek, the previous scheduled opponent? Or do you think he's worse? Maybe you do. Do you think that Washington has any chance? As I say, he's got the physical attributes. His boxing skills are decent enough. But, you know, you just look at the Amir Mansour fight. He was bossing that fight early on, outboxing Mansour, landing good shots. But Mansour rallied late on, particularly in the second half of the fight. And Washington really had no response. He wasn't throwing any punches. He was just allowing Mansour to come forward and take the rounds and offering very, very little resistance. Hardly throwing anything and just hoping to survive and go to 12. Go to 10. I think it was a 10-round fight. It was a bizarre performance in the second half of that fight by Gerald Washington. Just unnecessarily cautious at a time when he needed to hit Amir Mansour with something to gain his respect. He wasn't throwing anything. And the commentators have remarked on this in several Gerald Washington fights. So that has to be a big concern going in against Deontay Wilder. Gerald Washington, as far as I can remember, hasn't faced many guys as big as him. So he's used to having height and reach advantages over people. He did face Ray Austin recently, who is a big guy, but he is, you know, shot to absolute bits. Deontay Wilder, on the other hand, has faced guys as big as him who actually came to fight. Like Johan Duopa, for example. He fought him a few fights back. He's like 6'5", you know, only an inch or two shorter than Wilder, and he actually came to fight. Whereas Washington, you know, for Washington, this may be a new experience. Being in there with a guy who's just as big as him, at least in terms of height and reach, but is coming there to take his head off. So Washington won't be able to hide behind jabs and all that kind of stuff like he does with shorter opponents. He'll actually have to put something on Wilder, I would imagine, in order to win this fight. He'll actually have to show some type of aggression, some type of mean intent in there. So, again, apologies for the audio quality, people. I'm trying to get it rectified as soon as possible. But let me know what you think about this particular fight and this opponent. Drop it all in the comment section below. It's your boy Hatman, I'm out.